So yin yoga is beginning really shortly. So making sure that you have a yoga mat. And we'll get started really soon. Just sorting the sound out. Hi everyone. And so if we do get chucked out, as there's been some issues this week with the chat stopping, so if we do, then just sign back in. Hopefully it will be okay. But yeah, there's been a few issues this week, but have you experienced it in your classes at all? Maybe you have. Yeah. So today we'll need our bolsters and our blocks. And then whenever you feel ready to, you can come to a lying down position. Thank you so much, Rosie. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, so today should be great. It's non-weight bearing, so we'll be relaxing into positions. So your wrist should be fine. Yeah. And then once you're in a very comfortable lying down position, you could have a bolster behind your back or working simply in a more Savasana type position. And that's just for lying down with the legs long and the palms either at the body or at the sides. And we have about Is there anyone else with any injuries or anything I should be aware of today? So welcome to Yin Yoga, everyone. And today is a very still and very meditative form of yoga. So we hold positions between 5 to 7 minutes. And we go very deep into relaxation so that we can calm the nervous system response. Now, to begin, we'll take a few releasing breaths. So take a deep breath in through the nose. And take a big sigh out of the mouth. Long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. And big sigh out. And then one more, inhale deeply and really expand your upper back, the chest and lower belly. And big sigh out. So welcome to those who may be brand new to my classes. My name's Natasha, and in today's class we're working through a very simple practice in some ways, but in other ways it can be quite a challenging practice as it's one of stillness. So we move into positions, we hold for a long period of time, and therein lies the challenge. The challenge is in maintaining a pose and relaxing into it, even if it's challenging, even if it's uncomfortable. And so if you are used to vinyasa yoga and movement, then try to approach yin as like when you're moving into, for example, a strength building posture, like plank pose, for example. We bring a quality of attention and a willpower, let's say. So we actually have a lot of willpower in yin, but it's in a different way. It's in the opposite manner. So we relax. So when we feel as though we want to fidget or move or release a pose early, then see if you can bring that same quality of willpower. So that strength of mind. And I'll be teaching you techniques that you can call upon to stay in something, even if you would like to release. And of course, if there's pain, we back away. But for the most part, the breath is the most important aspect and brings a sense of empowerment. Now here we'll connect to our breathing in a pranayama exercise. So as we breathe in, we'll breathe in for 4, then holding the breath inside of the body for 4, and then breathing out very slowly for 6. Let's empty the breath entirely to begin. Then take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding the breath 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing out slowly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Breathing in deeply for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding the breath in 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing out slowly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Breathing in deeply for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding the breath in 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing out slowly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now counting to yourself mentally. And bring all of your attention, really honing your attention to the counting of the breathing. And we'll take 3 more rounds, counting to yourself mentally. So you're really applying all of your attention, and the effort that we bring to a yin practice is a relaxed attention. And so as we come to our experience, we're bringing that quality of relaxed alertness. So it's in between a too lax mind, so a mind that's sleepy and not really listening, and it's in between that and also a concentrating mind. So we don't want to be too concentrated that we're causing energetic disruption, but rather we're creating space for our inner energies to flow freely with a quality of relaxed attention, or we could call it a spacious presence. And taking 1 more round. Really bringing all your attention to the movement of the breath and where it's flowing within your body. Feeling the subtle sensations of this movement of energy. Now, when you finished your last round, let's bend the knees and bring your palms behind your legs helping them to move inwards. Roll to one side and come to a seated position. So you could choose to sit in a simple cross-legged position. So if we are beginning yoga, we can cross the shins, or we may be able to move the heels backwards so they're more in line with one another. And then some of you may want to take half Padmasana if it's comfortable for the knees. And let's bring the palms to prayer pose. Anjali Mudra. Thumbs connect to Anahata chakra, so the heart center. And closing your eyes, invite in your intention today. Calling into your experience something that you would love to magnetize towards you. It could be something that you would like to feel or create in your experience. Once you have your intention, repeat that 3 times to yourself mentally. And if there's an emotion, imagine you are feeling that emotion already. And it could be to take this opportunity to express gratitude for everything that you have and your health and your body and your mind. And have a wonderful yin yoga today, everyone. When we feel ready to, we can move into our first seated pose. So moving your feet forwards, and as you fold towards your legs, we can use the palms behind you. So placing your fingertips behind and allow the spine to round forwards. Or maybe you're having the palms on the inside of the legs and gentle pressure from the elbows with the hands and the forearms resting here. Or maybe your forearms go over your shins. And if you are working with props, then yoga blocks are good. We can have them underneath the forehead, resting on the feet. Or the bolster, so if you have a yoga bolster, we can prop up the bolster under your forehead. Or even use your feet as a pillow. Some of you may choose to move the arms under your legs, kind of pinning you in place in a very passive manner. Great, everyone. So in your butterfly position, the spine naturally rounds and curves. And in order to reach the meridian lines down the back body, allow that to happen, so relax muscularly. The head hangs heavy or rests forwards on some prop. And there are 3 principles to the practice of yin yoga. So principle number 1 is we always work with the most appropriate level of sensation. And this is one of never too much, but also not too little sensation. So we're keen to feel gentle, continual traction in the fascia. And we do this by gently prising and pulling apart layers of fascia in certain areas as we stretch. But we never want this sensation to be too much, that it creates more tension somewhere else, or what we call an energetic disruption, where our inner energies are actually disrupted because we're going too far into a pose. So we hang back slightly in order to create that more spacious inner experience. And on the other hand, we do not want to hold back too much, for if we are making it too easy for ourselves, then we are not creating change. We're not expanding in the way that we could be. So just the right amount, not too much and not too little sensation. And then principle number 2 is we hold in stillness and muscular relaxation. So we relax every muscle, allowing for the body to move into the path of least resistance. And as we relax, the effect moves away from the muscles, they soften. Maybe some effect is felt in the belly of the muscle, but for the most part, we are then working in the connective tissue system and the skeleton, so the bones and the joints and the joint capsules and ligaments and tendons and fascia. So fascia surrounds your entire structure and also interweaves and cocoons every structure in your body, even inner organs. And so it's really a matrix that runs everywhere, like a 3-dimensional web of connection. And when we bring traction to fascia, we can improve its hydration, its ability to create an elastic property, as well as the plasticity of the fascia is, so that's its ability to change shape, just like plastic is poured into a mold and then that sets in a new shape. Our body can do the same. We can set it in a new range of motion. So the plasticity of the fascia means that we can change the shape, improving our flexibility. Now, once we're holding in stillness and muscular relaxation, the 3rd principle is time. So we hold for a long period of time. And time is really the way in which we nourish and pressurize these key meridian lines. Here we're targeting the meridian lines on the inner legs, so the kidney and the liver meridians. And the breath is as you want it to be. So at times you could breathe more dynamically, more actively, and other times we may choose to watch the natural movement of the breath and just noticing its fluctuations without changing it, without interrupting what it does naturally or wants to do naturally. Now here we'll take just one more deep breath in and slow breath out to release. As you release from yin positions, do so really slowly. So we round upwards through the spine and bring your palms behind your legs, helping them to move together. Then taking a simple cross-legged seat for a meditation. And in this meditation position, scan through your body and feel into the more subtle sensations. So the effect of your long-held yin, hip opener. Here, take a deep breath in. Big sigh out. Resting in whole body awareness for 3 to 5 breaths. Good, and now as we move into our next position, let's move to an all-fours pose. And moving your knees underneath your hips. If you do have yoga blocks at home, then they are wise to have handy, just in case you want to deepen the position. So first off, we move the knees back so that they align under the hips. Then bring your palms forwards and drape the center of your chest downwards. Bring your forearms to the floor here and resting all the way down and forwards. You can choose to use your blocks to make it deeper. So how we would do this is to bring the blocks under your forearms. Just be aware that this makes it a lot more intense. Make sure your elbows are resting on the blocks and your head is on the ground. So that's a way we can deepen it. And we are keen to create pressure at the front of the arms. So you may feel a lot of pressure here at the front of the arms and maybe in the shoulder area. So just go easy. If you need to feel less sensation, bend the elbows wider. And if you would like to feel more, we can straighten the arms and bring them close to your head, close to the ears. Now, as you breathe in, breathe into the shoulders. And as you breathe out, soften and really sink down and forwards. So as you breathe in, you breathe into the back of the heart space, the upper back, the thoracic area. And as you breathe out, sinking the center of your chest downwards. Great, everyone. The purpose of this position is to bring continual pressure to the meridian lines in the arms, so the heart and the lung meridians. And we also are affecting the deep and the superficial arm lines of fascia running down the inner arm. If at any point you would prefer child's position, you can just move your hips further backwards and towards the heels. So that can be a little easier on the shoulders, especially if you're working with any shoulder injuries. Be at a place where, again, there's no intensity that gets in the way of our spaciousness. There will be a challenge, maybe an uncomfortableness, but make sure you're not tensing or tightening to maintain the physical position. And actually you're in a place where you can much more easily relax so that you can open more space, more energetic freedom. Now the chi, or the pranic energy that we refer to in yin yoga, is really the animating force behind all physical manifestation. And it's animating our physical health as well as linked to our mind state. The yogis believe that if our inner energies are kind of incoherent in their flow, then it can lead to disease in the mind. So a mind that's restless, a mind that jumps from one thing to another. And so the yogis believe that if we bring our body into a greater sense of coherence by animating the energy flow throughout the body through yoga positions, then this allows the mind to become still, to settle and to become very clear. We have just one more minute here. Breathing into everything you feel. Really expand and extend the breath into the sensations. Physically, we breathe into sensations to create space, to move bones and tissue away from one another. But energetically, the breath is linked to our pranic energies. And so we are bringing our pranic energies to areas for healing, bringing the vitality that is housed within the breath to the areas that we're working in. And taking your last 2 deep breaths. And then one more long, slow breath in. And as you breathe out, from your shoulder opening, bend your elbows slightly round through the upper spine as you press into your forearms, and then lower down to rest on the front. Relax your glutes, relaxing both legs. And here, take a sigh, so deep breath in. Big sigh out. Resting in whole body awareness. Become really still through the body and feel into the inner space. Resting in a relaxed alertness inside your experience. Now, as we move into our next pose here, we can come to the forearms, and on the forearms we work with Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose could be practiced on 2 blocks. So we bring the forearms on top of the blocks here. And the palms can rest together or over the blocks. Or if you are working deeper into a back bend, be mindful if you feel any pain or pinching in the back, then back away. But if you do want to go further, move your palms to mat width, turn the fingers outwards and lift your elbows. And then you can walk your palms towards you. Go really mindfully so you create space, and there is a gentle compressive feeling, but there should be no pain, no pinching. So if you do feel pain here, then just come back to the forearms, or even to child's pose. That could be an alternative here. And then when you feel ready to, closing the eyes. And as you breathe in, breathe into the back body. And as you breathe out, soften and sink down and forwards. Breathing in to create space. And breathing out to soften and surrender into the path of least resistance. Maybe sinking too much causes tension, so find a happy medium between pushing the floor away, which is engagement, and sinking too much. So finding that happy space where you're relaxed around the shoulders, but the neck feels spacious. And the gentle pressure of the support of the forearms means that we can then feel a gentle, it's like a subtle compression in a good way, in parts of your back body, so the spine. And this gentle compression is occurring in the kidney point. So we target and we enliven the health of the kidney chi. So as you breathe in, imagine your kidneys. They're housed below your lower ribs, just here. And imagine as you breathe in, you're breathing through this area, bringing vitality to the kidneys. You can switch between Sphinx pose and seal pose, whenever feels good. So feel intuitively into your body, or remaining in Sphinx pose the entire time. Working into new ranges of motion when the body is ready, or listening to the body and backing away. So adjust either further or slightly back if you need to, give your body more space. In the times in which you're not adjusting, you remain in stillness. And imagine that the pose is your meditation. It's a meditation happening in itself. And in meditation, we keep the body in stillness, and we bring all of our attention to our inner space, asking ourselves, what is here in my experience? What can I perceive in this present moment? So we bear witness. We become the witness to our experience, watching, witnessing with some space around what we perceive and our reaction to it. See if you can relax your eyes, relaxing the tiny muscles around both eyes, smoothing out the face. In awareness, the face is relaxed. In concentration, too much concentration, we may feel the face tense or tighten. So see if you can make your face really spacious, relaxed, and wide somehow. It kind of smooths outwards. It widens as we move to awareness instead of concentration. Really nice. And turning your awareness, your attention to the breath movement. And we'll take 3 slow, Deep breaths into and through the kidneys, down into the lower back and the curve of the back bend. Relaxing the mouth, the jaw, the tongue. Good, and if you have your elbows lifted, bring the elbows down in slow motion, then bring them wide, resting your forehead to the backs of the hands. And here we'll take a deep breath in, big sigh out, whole body awareness. Now pressing into both palms and engage your core slightly so that you can move back into child's pose. Move your knees wide, big toes together, sinking the sit bones back towards the heels and reach the arms forwards. And in your child's pose, breathe into the sacroiliac area. So breathing into the small of the back, through the mid-back, where we were back bending before. Now, as we move into our next hip opening, it's actually our second and more deep hip opening. We'll come to a all fours position. And from all fours, the first option I'll demonstrate is to move your right knee towards your right wrist, swivel the toes towards your left hip, and slide your left toes backwards. So if you're sinking back towards the floor with your right glute, but it still is off the ground, then we can have one or two blocks behind and then sink onto them. So we can sit down on support behind you. Another thing we can do is lean sideways and come to deer position. So we sit on the floor with no props and then bend your right leg at a kind of 90-degree angle and bend your left leg sideways at a right angle too. Then you can fold over your front shin and rest your head on something, or even on the floor or the backs of the hands. So what this does is it frees up more space. And instead of being central, if we go sideways, we can impact the knee less. So if you are feeling any knee pain here in sleeping swan, then try deer position, going sideways. If you still feel knee pain, then come to lie down on the back and bring your right ankle over your left knee. And we can use your left foot on the ground for support here. So you could have your left foot on the floor or catch hold of behind your left leg, bringing the right arm through the gap in between the legs, and then draw the legs towards you. And so those are the 3 options for hip opening. We will be here for some time, so if at any point you want to switch and move into a slightly different position, then definitely do that. And in this pose, we are affecting the gallbladder meridian, which is running on the outer leg and the outer hip. And the gallbladder chi is actually the yang organ for the wood element. And the corresponding yin organ is the liver. Now, the gallbladder and the liver chi, which is the wood element, governs over the health of our tendons and also our muscles, and controls the flow of chi as well as our inner disposition. And it's also in control of detoxification. The chakra that is linked to this process and the wood element is actually Manipura chakra. The sense organ is the eyes. So in traditional Chinese medicine, if we have any eye issues, then it could be the wood element or the liver or gallbladder chi that we need to address. And it's linked to the cycle of birth or new beginnings. So if we're feeling stuck or not moving forwards, that can be a sign that we can work on our wood element or liver chi, so that we can have the energy of rebirth, of new beginnings, the energy needed to bound forwards in the direction of our dreams. Now, the emotions that are linked to imbalance in these 2 meridians are irritation, irritability, or frustration, or anger. And it's said that anger is stored and processed in the liver. And then if the wood element is in balance, then our anger can transmute and change into compassion. So we then have the ability to feel compassionate, compassion towards others or ourselves, actually. So they're 2 sides of the same coin, really, the anger and the compassion. When we're angry, it's very hard to feel compassion. So if our inner state is one of anger, then often there's no room for compassion, because we're not compassionate to ourselves when we're feeling angry. And the taste is sour, and the climate is windy. The season, springtime, and the color, green. And if we are working in the wood element and we feel a sense perhaps of, well, of course, anger, but of frustration at not moving forwards, then this can actually weaken our liver and our gallbladder chi. So it can work in the opposite direction. If the emotional experience we're having is one of being stuck, then this can affect the chi. And then vice versa, if the chi is weak, then the experience that manifests can be anger or frustration. And so it's like a feedback loop, really. One that we can interrupt through acupuncture and yin yoga. Now taking your last 2 deep breaths. And really breathing into everything that is within this side. Breathing into the right side of the hips. And see your breath as this amazing wave that can move through and move along anything stuck. Good. And when you finished your last few breaths, press into your palms and slide your right foot behind the right knee, making sure that it's aligned as you straighten your leg. Flex your foot, press the heel back behind you, and come to child's pose to nourish and to compress the lower body. So it's like a reset when we go into our child's pose in between sides. Taking a deep breath in, big sigh. Whole body awareness. Feeling any sense of openness or sensitivity to your experience or vulnerability. And see if you can sit in that experience of softening. Now let's move to the second side. So come to an all-fours position. Move your left knee to left wrist. Swivel the toes towards your right hip and slide right toes backwards. If you're keen to use your blocks under the left glute, then we can do so here. Or we could choose to take the deer position. So deer pose is where we move sideways. Bend the right leg behind you. Make sure the knee is more in line with the hip sideways. And we can move the left foot forwards, folding over your left shin. And then bringing the breath to all the sensations. And the breath animates the inner disposition. If you are still feeling too much in the knee, then take yourself to a lying down position. Bring your left ankle over your right knee. Or you could catch behind your right leg, or even in front of the shin. And working with the variation that really suits you. Make sure you feel no pain in your knees. Hopefully just a dull uncomfortableness in your hips. That means we're creating change. And so meridian line chi flows along many subtle pathways, linking various organs and tissues. And each meridian line has different features. Organ to organ, meridian lines differ in terms of the climate, the chakra that it refers to, the sense organ, the cycle. So that's either birth or growth or maturity, harvest. And different parts are linked, such as the nails. So the nails are involved in the wood element. So in Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, the therapist will check many different elements of our health and then determine which meridian line it's referring to, which one can be strengthened. And so they may look at the nails, our complexion, our skin, eyes, lips, and how we feel, so the climate in the body, whether we're hot, whether we're cold, the kind of tastes that we are attracted to, sour, bitter, sweet, spicy, or salty. And so the taste that is referring or linked to the wood element is sour. So if we crave sour tastes and that type of food, then potentially the liver and the gallbladder is the answer. I know that often people crave spicy or sweet. Spicy is the metal element, so the lungs and the large intestine, which is we worked in our shoulder opening, the lung meridian earlier. And sweet is the spleen and the stomach, chi, so the earth element. In your hip opener, directing all of your breath and your attention to where the sensation lies. Does it have a color or a shape? Is there a dull sensation or a sensation of heaviness or lightness in your position as you breathe into the hips? Resting your attention in the area we're working with. So this kind of unhurried, unambitious in many ways. We're letting go of striving, of wanting to achieve something. So this unambitious attitude that we have in yin is allowing us to be very deeply receptive, to attend to our body. And this is known to diminish stress, altering the nervous system response, so that our body-mind can discharge and let go of tension. Tension stored in physical, mental, or emotional bodies. Overall, enhancing the quality of chi flow everywhere. Now here, taking your last and fullest breath in, and slow breath out. And we'll release. As you slide your left foot behind the left knee, straighten through your left leg, flexing the foot, maybe with a groan. And come to a lying down position. Hopefully we can fit in a final juicy twist. So once lying down, hug your knees in and take a big sigh, deep breath in, big sigh out. Whole body awareness. Now to twist. Bring both knees to your right side. And hug your knees high towards you. As you breathe in, raise your left arm. And as you breathe out, either take it alongside your ear, or you can go wide, but slightly at a diagonal. So instead of in line with the shoulder, we could be there, or we could go slightly higher than shoulder height. And it's a diagonal down from the arm, down the chest to the opposite hip. See how that feels. It's often a good placement for this position, or any other placement that you normally work with. Okay, great. So that looks good, everyone. If you do want to go further, we can hook your left leg over your right leg and intertwine them like eagle legs, so that they're on the side, but one is up and then over and then intertwined under. Yeah, so intertwining both legs in your twist. Left leg will be on top if both knees are to your right side. As you breathe in, breathe into your left shoulder, left side of the waist, left hip. And as you breathe out, allow the arm to get really heavy and to sink and surrender into gravity. Breathing in. Breathing out to soften and to relax your arm. So the heaviness of the arm actually takes you deeper, but in a really passive way. And here we're working in the heart and the lung meridians. Now focusing on the lung meridian, this is the yin meridian line. And the yang meridian, which corresponds with the lungs, is actually the large intestine, both part of the metal element. And they control respiration and elimination of toxins and CO2. So they're linked to Vishuddhi, the throat chakra, and the sense organ for the metal element is the nose. And as we practice rebalancing the lung and the large intestine chi, we can move away from states of sorrow or grief. It's said in yoga practices that actually grief can be stored in the lungs. And the other side of the coin to grief is actually courage. Courage and empowerment. So the courage to have the strength, really, to carry on, to commit to this human experience as we process and let go of our grief. And so courage is the positive state. If we're feeling a lack of courage or a lack of strength, this can also be the lungs or the large intestine, chi. And the season that it's linked to is the fall, so autumn. The climate dry, the taste spicy, and the natural cycle is harvest. Breathe into your left side body for 2 more deep breaths. And really animating your upper body with each breath movement. Good, and slow motion, bring your left arm over your body, closing the chest. And roll the knees and the shoulders back to the center at the same time. Hug your knees inwards and take a deep breath in. And slow breath out. And really sitting in any feelings of vulnerability, softness, openness. And we'll now move to our opposite side. So we bring both knees to your left side. And as you hug your knees high towards you, take a breath in to raise your right arm and exhale, twist. You can have the arm alongside the ear upwards or go wide. And if you're going wide, then having your arm slightly higher than shoulder height. So shoulder height is good, or we can be slightly higher, so it's a diagonal. And the diagonal lines of fascia are feeling the traction, the opening here. As you breathe into right side body, right lung, and right side waist. And as you breathe out, sink and soften through the right side. The right arm becomes heavier. As you breathe in, think space, a spaciousness, a lightness. And as you breathe out, think surrender, a softening, a non-resistance. And surrender becomes so much easier when we can recognize the fleeting and ever-changing nature of all experiences. And Eckhart Tolle mentions that with the recognition that the world can actually not give us anything of lasting value. We can then meet people and be involved in experiences without the wants and the fears of the egoic self. So that is to say that we do not demand that a situation, a place, a person, an event should ever satisfy us completely or make us happy. And instead, its passing and imperfect nature is allowed to be. So when we do not expect the world to give us anything of lasting value, everything then becomes much more satisfying, more harmonious, in flow, and a peacefulness can arise within us. Everything is always changing. The fleeting nature of things is allowed to be. Now taking your last and fullest breath in. And in slow motion, we'll bring your right arm over your body, closing the chest. And roll your knees and shoulders back to the center at the same time. Good, and then hugging your knees inwards and feel deeply inside. Take a deep breath in. Big sigh out. Whole body awareness. And now let's lengthen through both arms and both legs and find Savasana. Savasana is our final pose and our final relaxation. So we lie flat on the back. Bring the palms a little away from the sides of your body, allowing your fingers to naturally curl and to relax. You can cover yourself with any blankets or perhaps placing jumpers or socks on. Allow the feet to flop sideways. And taking a final sweet sigh, so deep breath into lower abdomen. And sweet sigh out. Resting in whole body awareness, whole body mindfulness. Now in this moment of open receptivity, reminding yourself of your intention and repeating your intention 3 times to yourself mentally. And whenever you feel ready to move, making small movements in the fingers and the toes. Or hug one knee into your chest and then the other, rocking from side to side. Roll to your right side and come to a seated position. Bringing the palms to prayer pose, Anjali Mudra. And to close our yoga practice together, take a breath into the heart space. And cleansing sigh out. Raising your thumbs to the third eye, your intuitive space. Deep breath in. Exhale to fold forwards over your legs. And staying folded for as long as you want to feel the effect. Namaste. Namaste to everyone, to all of you who were able to join me. So thank you so much for coming today, coming to class, and so great to see you online. Let me know in the comments and the chat how it went. And my next yin is on Thursday with Tri Yoga. So it's Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Hopefully I'll see you online. And my Vinyasa Yoga with Tri Yoga is on Monday at 6:15 p.m. So hopefully I'll see some of you in Vinyasa too. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Rosie, Rachel, Caroline, and Aniki, Rachel, Libby, Mary, nice to see you. Anita, yay. Another Caroline, April, Ola, Michael, and Anna. Thank you. Hanane and Catherine. Thank you. Thank you, Janine and Piero.